Wiring two receptacles from a single disconnect requires careful consideration of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, to ensure safety and compliance. Firstly, let's address the code compliance aspect. The NEC, specifically Article 210.21b3, allows for the use of two or more receptacles on a single circuit, given that the total load does not exceed the circuit rating. This means that the combined amperage draw of all devices plugged into these receptacles should not surpass the ampacity of the circuit breaker or fuses protecting the circuit. In this scenario, you're using a 60 amp disconnect and protecting it with 50 amp fuses, which is a crucial safety measure. Furthermore, NEC Article 408.50 dictates that receptacle ratings must not be less than 125% of the connected load. Since each load runs around 30 amps, your 55 amp receptacles meet this requirement, providing an adequate safety margin. Now, let's explore the best method to tap the wires for this setup. The preferred approach is to utilize lugs rated for two conductors, if available. These specialized lugs are designed to accommodate two separate wires securely, providing a reliable and code-compliant connection. They can be installed directly onto the existing lugs on the disconnect, streamlining the process and avoiding the need for additional boxes or components. Here are the steps to follow when using two conductor lugs. 1. Disconnect power to the circuit. This is a non-negotiable safety precaution that must be taken before working on any electrical circuit. Always verify that the power is off using a reliable voltage tester. 2. Remove the existing lugs from the disconnect. Carefully detach the original lugs, taking note of their orientation and how they were connected. This will serve as a reference when installing the new lugs. 3. Strip the insulation from the wire end and insert them into the two conductor lugs. Use a wire stripper to remove the appropriate amount of insulation from each wire, ensuring a clean and secure connection within the lug. Insert both wires into the lug, making sure they are fully seated. 4. Crimp the lugs securely using a crimping tool. A proper crimping tool is essential for creating a strong and reliable connection. Use the correct die size for the lug and wire gauge, and apply sufficient pressure to create a permanent bond. 5. Install the new lugs onto the disconnect. Attach the crimped lugs to the disconnect in the same manner as the original lugs, ensuring they are properly aligned and seated. 6. Tighten the screws to secure the lugs. Use a screwdriver or wrench to tighten the screws and the lugs, providing a firm and secure connection. Avoid over-tightening, which could damage the lugs or the disconnect. 7. Reconnect power to the circuit. Once all connections are made and verified, carefully restore power to the circuit and test the receptacles to ensure they are functioning correctly. Now, let's discuss an alternative method using distribution blocks. If two conductor lugs are not readily available, distribution blocks offer a viable alternative for tapping the wires. However, this method necessitates the addition of a junction box to house the distribution blocks. While it requires more components, it can be a practical solution when dual conductor lugs are not an option. Here are the steps to follow when using distribution blocks. 1. Disconnect power to the circuit. As always, safety is paramount. Ensure the power is completely off before proceeding. 2. Install a junction box near the disconnect. Choose a junction box that is appropriately sized for the distribution blocks and wiring, and mount it securely near the disconnect. 3. Run the wires from the disconnect to the junction box. Carefully route the wires from the disconnect to the junction box, ensuring they are properly supported and protected. 4. Strip the insulation from the wire ends and connect them to the distribution blocks. Use a wire stripper to remove the insulation and connect the wires to the appropriate terminals on the distribution blocks, following the manufacturer's instructions. 5. Tighten the screws to secure the wires. Ensure all connections are tight and secure, providing a reliable electrical path. 6. Connect the two pigtails from the disconnect to the distribution blocks. Connect the wires leading to the receptacles, often referred to as pigtails, to the distribution blocks, ensuring they are properly connected and secured. 7. Reconnect power to the circuit. Once all connections are made and verified, carefully restore power to the circuit and test the receptacles. It is important to understand the NEC requirements for overcurrent protection. You are using 50 amp fuses to protect the 60 amp rated wire. The overcurrent protection device, in this case the 50 amp fuses, is intended to protect the conductors from overload and short circuits. The size of the overcurrent protection device should be based on the ampacity of the conductors, the rating of the connected equipment, and any applicable code requirement. Also, it is crucial to use the correct type of wire for the application. The wire should be rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit, as well as the environmental conditions in which it will be installed. For example, if the wire will be exposed to moisture, it should be rated for wet locations. SO cord is a flexible cord that is commonly used for portable equipment and appliances. It is important to ensure that the SO cord is properly sized for the load and that it is not subjected to excessive strain or abrasion. Furthermore, ensure that all electrical connections are made in a safe and workmanlike manner. Use appropriate connectors and terminals and tighten all screws and bolts securely. Avoid creating loose connections which can cause overheating and arcing. Always double-check your work and test the circuit after completing the installation to ensure that it is functioning properly and safely. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Improper electrical work can be dangerous and can lead to fires, shocks, and other hazards. Remember to always prioritize safety and follow all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, wiring two receptacles from a single disconnect requires careful planning and execution to ensure compliance with the NEC and maintain a safe electrical system. Whether you choose to use dual-conductor lugs or distribution blocks, it is essential to follow the proper steps and use appropriate materials and tools. By adhering to these guidelines, you can create a reliable and code-compliant electrical installation.